Addie,
Yes,
can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can. Can you speak again real quick? I just want to test the volume.
Yeah, no, not a problem. How's it going, Dan? Hi, Emma.
All right. How about now, Patty?
Bye-bye.
Patty.
Fine. No, it's not. It's just like, no, no, it is gonna be. It's gonna be. Ever since. Yeah. Tells me that. It's fine if we don't. We don't have some, that's what we do today. Um.
Okay, so you have login.
Okay. I got you. Everybody have the eighth grade promotion. Make sure that again, it's just graduation. No.
So my son's gonna be playing with an 8-3-3.
To make sure.
And then behind school starts again.
And that's. Hey, how was your trip? Any problem?
Go ahead and do the roll call.
President Close,
Here.
Vice President Montiers. Here. Superintendent Designee Miller. Here. Miss Barr. Here. Dr. Crockett.
Here.
Miss Foster.
Here.
Mr. Ruiz. Mr. Ruiz, he's virtual, not yet. Mr. Stratton. Mr. Swanson. With that, President Close, you have a quorum.
Member Ruiz will be online, right? Or he is?
He is not online right now, but he plans to attend virtually.
Okay. Just trying to pick my language here. Okay, we'll go ahead and do some housekeeping regarding the hybrid meeting. We anticipate that member Ruiz will be virtual. For board members that are in person, there are microphones directly in front of you. When they are red, the mic is not live. Please click on the mic when you want to talk. The mic will turn green and then you can speak. Once you're done speaking, please push the mic again so that it turns red. For board members participating via Zoom, please stay on mute. If you would like to speak, please push the hand icon to indicate you would like to speak. This will help me to know you would like to say something, and then I will make sure you have an opportunity to speak. Excuse me. For charters or applicants on the agenda that are participating via Zoom, please stay muted until your item is called. Once your item is called, board staff will introduce the item, and then I will call on you to address the board. At that time, you may unmute yourself. For charters or applicants on the agenda participating in person, once your item is called, board staff will provide a brief introduction and answer any questions board members may have for staff. Then I will request that representatives for the charter come up to the podium to address the board. And that's it. So we did our roll call. We'll move on into superintendent's report. Wendy,
Thank you. Good morning.
good morning.
Superintendent Tom Horn's May report. With the growing dangers and tragedies of fentanyl among Arizona school-age children, Superintendent Horn has announced an initiative to supply schools with the anti-overdose drug Narcan and the creation of a statewide task force to address this growing crisis. Among all age groups, Arizona recorded more than 1,800 opiate-related deaths and more than 4,000 overdoses in 2023 alone. The School Training Overdose Preparedness and Intelligence Task Force, labeled Stop It for short, is being formed and will include representatives from schools, healthcare, law enforcement, and other interested stakeholders, including partnerships with Teros Health and the Mayo Clinic. ADE will also be partnering with the Sold Out Youth to provide free anti-drug awareness materials as a resource for all interested Arizona schools. Horn said, sadly, overdoses are a reality for school-age children throughout Arizona. Fentanyl can kill students within minutes of the overdose. It is vitally important that all schools have Narcan available to help save student lives if it should happen on campus. With the establishment of the Stop It Task Force, we will work to get Narcan into schools and assist with training for its use. Dr. Holly Geyer, addiction medicine specialist at Mayo Clinic Scottsdale, also said, there has never been a greater need to prepare the next generation with the knowledge and tools necessary to combat the opioid epidemic. With more than 50% of U.S. fentanyl being trafficked directly through our state, we are ground zero. It's time to bring solutions as big as the problem to the table. This task force has assembled a wide array of proven thought leaders whose collective expertise can and will change the landscape of our state's opioid overdose trends. This concludes the superintendent's May report.
Thank you. I guess Mike needs to be green, huh? Any questions for Wendy? None. Okay, moving on to item E, Executive Director's Report. Ashley.
Good morning, President Close, Superintendent Designee Miller, and board members. Good morning, and thank you for all being here. Every meeting, I update you on what President Close has approved as a surrender or voluntary surrender agreements, and also what I have approved as the executive director under the authority that you have given me. So to date, since the last board meeting, President Close has approved one voluntary surrender agreement for Pima County to operate Pima Vocational High School. That charter will close at the end of this school year. And then I have approved 42 amendment requests since the last board meeting. And just as a reminder, those amendments are more technical in nature, changes to governance, changes to charter representatives, and really just updates to the contract. And in addition to that, our compliance and support, our accountability, our CSA team, they have been very busy since the last board meeting. They did 10 interval reviews and 3 renewals, and they have visited 51 schools in March, April, and May up to date. And then moving on to board staff introductions, I am happy to announce that we do have one new hire, and it's actually Emma, who used to be our intern. So I'm going to hand it over to her to introduce herself to you.
Good morning, President Close, Superintendent Designee Miller, and board members. My name is Emma Bellinger, and I have previously served as the project assistant intern at the Arizona State Board for Charter Schools since January of 2023. I'm a recent business management graduate of Grand Canyon University as of April of 2024, and I had the opportunity to accept my postgraduate position as the operational project specialist at the Arizona State Board for Charter Schools. During my time working for the board, I have not only learned a plethora of skills that have helped shape me as a professional, I've also come to love the work that our board staff and board members do. As an intern, I was able to work on the strategic development team to further develop our staff strategic initiatives. And as I have moved into my new role as an operational project specialist, I've continued to work on many of the same responsibilities, but also embark on new tasks and opportunities. The work of our board staff and board members is incredibly meaningful and impactful, and it has made me a more well-rounded professional. The support and engagement of board staff here is amazing and has made me excited to start working full-time as I transition from a college student to a working professional. For these reasons, I'm incredibly excited and proud to continue working for this team. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, and happy to have you on board.
Thank you, Emma. And Dan, if you can go to the presentation. Okay, board members, each year staff works really hard to move the needle to better improve our internal processes, but also to improve the support that we provide the charters under our portfolio. And I often say we don't get it right all the time, but we try really hard to improve ourselves year over year. And I want to do just a little bit of an update to you on what we've been doing this last year and some of the work that we've completed. Now, this presentation has a lot of information in it, but I'm going to try to keep it as concise as possible because I know we have a long agenda. But please feel free to stop me if you have any questions at all. So getting into our operations and financial divisions, these are our operations is our internal division that really helps us support our agency and the office that we have. So one of the big projects that we implemented this past year, and actually it launched in May of last year, is our new ASBCS online system. It's a completely new system that is on Salesforce. And we continue to work throughout this year to enhance that system, provide additional supports, and really it's allowing staff the time to get to know this new system and all the capabilities that are available in that system. We know that there's a lot more able and available to us in that system, but we're still working through updating that system and improving it. And it's been going really well. We have not had instances where it's broken or certain processes are not working that cannot be fixed. So ultimately, very happy with the system that has been put in place, but looking to make more enhancements. And I know that we have been getting stakeholder feedback on that system, and there are definitely additional enhancements that we want to put together and make sure that we launch those in the upcoming years. So we are working through that as well. Additionally, and as you all are aware, we did go through our statutorily required sunset audit this year, and that was conducted by the State Auditor General's office. The Auditor General did release their final report, and ultimately we went to the legislature and were able to get continued for 8 years, which is a huge victory for our office. So we will be continued for 8 additional years, and now what staff is working through is implementing some of those recommendations as needed. We will have to do a 6-month update and response to the Auditor General's office, and we're working through that right now. Our office also facilitates student records requests for charters that have already closed. And these are records requests where the charter has asked us to take on those records, and then we fulfill those records requests for students. Last year, we did around 1,000 records requests for students. And this year, we worked really hard to revise that process to be able to respond faster to students. And ultimately, we were able to find Diploma Verify that would allow for quicker responses to students, but also reduce how many records requests we actually have to fulfill. So this year, we've done 300, which is significantly less than last year, but still a lot. Within this division, we still continue to work on improving our office space, the technology that we use, and improving our processes just to make things a little bit more streamlined. We are a government agency, and so sometimes things are quite burdensome and tough to get through. So we just keep on trying to make it better and better. And then, as you all have been well aware, we went through a big overhaul and update to our financial performance framework. This was a long process that took a lot of stakeholder feedback and public input. And ultimately, the financial framework subcommittee put together recommendations for that financial framework that you all voted on, and we are working for implementation for this upcoming year. The changes have already been made to the new system, so it's ready to go once charters are able to start submitting their next audits. Okay. And then moving on to our customer service and accountability team, the acronym I could not figure out earlier, the CSA team. So for this team, these are the guys that really do most of our reviews and monitoring and also support. We have concluded our reviews and pop-ins for this year. We've conducted 68 school reviews in total, which include first year, second year, interval reviews, renewals, and specialized accountability. We have visited 136 schools through various processes, and we offered more training than we ever have been able to in the past. We do look to do more in the future, but this year I'm happy to announce that we've done 4 rounds of Charter Rep Bootcamp, 2 interval review guidance sessions, new operator training for new schools opening in FY25. And through these offerings, we reached over 100 individuals representing charters. And like I said, we hope to do more of that next year. We increased our support for charters by aiding in 8 leadership transitions through conversation, touch points, visits, and guidance. So that's 8 charters that went through a big transition. We increased our communication to charters through timely social media tips and more regular communication from our education program managers to charters assigned to them. We also began implementing regular and meaningful touch points with new charter applicants to ensure they are supported and prepared for our processes. Next slide, Dan. It's okay. Okay. So as our office has grown, the customer service and accountability team has grown, and we've been trying to do this very intentionally. And with that, we added a Northern Arizona team. So instead of filling positions here in Maricopa or metropolitan Phoenix area, we actually hired 2 individuals for the Northern Phoenix area. We have filled all of our positions that we had anticipated. It was a 4-year hiring plan that we had. And in that, we did hire a specialized accountability education program specialist. And that person is really to provide additional support for charters that are going through unique situations, such as a transition. We completed a year-long customer service training initiative. And that initiative, it really was focused on customer service, and it has been tailored to focus on all of our process and making sure that it is more customer service driven. This team will continue to use what we learned this year to improve our processes, including amendment processes such as eligibility and recommendation criteria, and improving use of the ASBCS online system to ensure quick and streamlined communication. So this is our strategic development team. This is our team that really supports our office from a strategy perspective of allowing for more communication, allowing for more best practices to come into our office, and for us to work on special projects to better support the internal workings of our office. At the beginning of this fiscal year, this team started working on several initiatives that foster national partnerships, enhance learning and development opportunities for staff, and increase our public presence. We established a robust data system to review comprehensive data, resulting in visualizations and summary reports to better understand our portfolio of schools. We continue to mold our processes to foster a data-forward approach for informing our work. Even though we launched our learning and development initiative with existing staff in 2021, this year felt like a fresh start, primarily because almost half of our team is new. With a larger team, it was necessary that we had access to key resources and provide additional opportunities for individual team members. Another area that grew exponentially is our public presence, both locally and nationally. As mentioned earlier, we began using social media to assist in communicating who we are, tips for our charter operators and their school leaders, and shared other charter school related events. Staff also presented and supported national initiatives such as A-Game, NACSA, the National Charter School Alliance, along with presenting at the ADE Leading Change Conference. And our last slide. Having taken on initiatives and changes this last year, we've already begun planning and implementing our forthcoming projects, which include putting together and facilitating student advisory committees. And this student and parent advisory committees, that's for staff to get more informed as to what's going on in the community and what students and parents are thinking of charter schools. And then beginning outreach to community stakeholders for the purpose of telling our story and our purpose. We're looking to celebrate and promote Arizona's 30th year in chartering and developing a structured approach to reviewing our internal processes and analyzing data to assess strengths, challenges of our schools, and providing insights to tailor monitoring efforts accordingly. We are excited about the work that we've done and are really looking forward to the work that we will hopefully be able to do next year. But with that, President Close and members, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Ashley. Any questions?
Comment.
Dr. Crockett.
President Close, Ashley and staff. As somebody mentioned when I came in, you're the longest serving member. I'm sure everybody's aware of that. But I just want to say that I really appreciate all the work that you have done as executive director and your staff in terms of really continually improving, particularly as it relates to the schools, to the charter operators. I know that every time I would talk with you about issues and so forth, that was one of your primary goals, was to offer greater assistance to the schools. And I think you certainly achieved that. And the other thing I'd like to thank board and you for is the financial framework, which was an issue when I first joined the board many years ago. So congratulations on your progress. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Crockett. Well said. Any other questions or comments? Thanks, Ashley. Okay, call to the public. There was one written public comment received for item H. The written public comment has been posted with the board materials. One request to speak was submitted. Lynn Adams would like to address items G2, G3, and I.
Thank you, President Close, board members. Thank you. I will make this short. I know we have a long meeting. I just want to say I appreciated Ashley's presentation, and I agree that I think the board and board staff has done a lot in terms of outreach. So the couple comments I have here are really meant in the spirit of continued improvement, and a few things just that I noticed when I was looking at the agenda today. So first of all, I want to talk about a couple items that I think in terms of regulatory issues that could be helpful for schools. So when I was looking at all of the items for all of the renewal schools, only all of the schools except for the Basis and the Great Heart schools had issues with two things that I think tells you that there are continuing concerns about two issues. One of them is enrollment. Each of the schools, except for those two, had concerns about the enrollment process. It continues to be an area in which schools really struggle. The enrollment statutes do not always make a lot of sense. They were written when you went down to your local school district and here's my kid and thank you. And so they don't work very well. And I think there continues to need to be some effort to work with schools to make them work for charter schools and to make them work for our processes and procedures, and also to make them work with what the Department of Education requires for AZEDs, because there is some disconnect there. I know that we've had conversations about this, staff, everyone's had conversations about this, but it continues to be a problem for schools and an area in which they could use some assistance. In addition, one of the other issues that every other school had an issue with were the links to the dashboards. So the State Board for Charter Schools changed their system. The links to the dashboards, information about that was included in a newsletter from the State Board for Charter Schools. Apparently, that did not provide enough information. There is not a redirect from the old State Board for Charter Schools links. There could have been a redirect. There could be direct communication. Originally, the dashboard links were sent to each school representative. That did not happen. And there was not a direct communication to each of the charter representatives. So those, again, are two issues that every single school, and there's a lot of good schools that are here for renewal today, every single school except for the two that have the resources to have a compliance officer had issues with. So I think that's something that could continue to be worked on. The issue with the compliance officer, this continues to be, as many of you know, sort of a thing with me. I want to make sure that every school, you have a lot of schools that are small schools that are not part of an organization. And I was just at a charter lawyer conference last week, and we had a discussion about kind of the interplay between compliance and regulation and private schools and vouchers. And a lot of schools were talking about, when it gets to a point when I need a compliance officer in order to be a charter school and make sure that my operations run, I'm going to think about becoming a private school and taking vouchers, because I've got a $60,000 position, for example. At some point, it makes worth that tipping point. And so I just want you to continue to think about that. That is something that schools are thinking about, that my clients are thinking about, and that you should be aware of too. We want to make sure, obviously, there are regulations that have to happen, but you want to make sure that every school can comply easily with all of the requirements that the State Board for Charter Schools and the state provides. To that point, you also have today the legal compliance questionnaire on your consent agenda and the compliance statement of assurances. I have corresponded both with Ashley and your legal counsel, who have been very considerate of my emails. I just want to make sure that both of those documents actually contain what is legally required. The legal compliance questionnaire, I believe there are a couple questions in there that are not legally required. I understand that the Auditor General's office may have provided them, but I'm asking the board staff to work with the Auditor General. I think the Auditor General thinks they're best practices, but it's a legal compliance questionnaire. They're not legally required. And then with the compliance statement of assurances, I'm really glad that that is not going to, hopefully, if you vote on it, not going to have to be submitted. But again, schools use this sort of as their checklist now, their 16-page checklist of things that they have to do. And I really want to make sure that that also only contains things that are actually required by either the law or the regulations. That is where you get your authority. And if it slips, that's again starts that slippery slope to unnecessary compliance. So I've provided that information to both, again, your board staff and legal counsel. And I just would like you to put an exclamation point on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, no other comments, so we'll go ahead and move on to consent agenda item G. Any questions or comments, anything from the board? If not, is there a motion?
This is Jessica. I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Crockett. Could you please take the vote?
Vice President Montier,
Aye.
Superintendent Designee Miller,
Aye.
Miss Barr,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Miss Foster,
Aye.
Mr. Ruiz,
Aye.
President Close,
Aye.
motion passes.
Very good. That's it for item G, so we'll move on to item H. Presentation by Shannon, American Leadership Academy, Charter Amendment.
Good morning. President Close, Superintendent Designee Miller, members of the board. American Leadership Academy, Inc. has submitted a new school amendment request to add American Leadership Academy Sierra Vista, which will serve grades K through 12 in Sierra Vista. The school is planned to open in fiscal year 2025. In conjunction with the new school request, the charter holder has submitted a request to increase its enrollment cap from 16,000 to 20,000. The charter holder does not meet the staff recommendation criteria for either request because some of its current schools do not perform at or above the average performance of schools within 5 miles of their current locations, as detailed in the executive summary. Additionally, American Leadership Academy Virtual Academy and American Leadership Academy Anthem South K-12 do not perform at or above the average performance in math of schools within a 5-mile radius of the proposed location. And I'm available for questions.
Any questions from the board? Go ahead and charter representative. Is there a representative from the charter? Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Ralph Pugh. My office is in Mesa. I currently serve as the president of the board of directors of American Leadership Academy. First time ever here, first time in front of this board. Frankly, it ought to be mandatory requirement for a lot of us that serve on boards to listen to the report that was just given, to grasp the breadth of what happens in this room and the capacity and the authorities you all have in the charter system. So again, today it's a pleasure to be here on behalf of American Leadership Academy for the two requests that the staff has highlighted. One, an increase in the enrollment cap, and the second one is a new K through 12 school in Sierra Vista. As a member of the board, and I'm here on their behalf today, we feel strongly and are committed to our mission statement, which has to do with supporting families and providing the best possible education experience to the most possible students in a moral and wholesome environment. So here we are asking this board to help us increase the capacity of our enrollment. We have space, we have room in some of our 17 campuses, and please help us open the Sierra Vista school. Again, it also is an indicative of the choice that many of us on the board feel strongly about in Arizona and the importance of families to choose and provide their education for their children. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll zip it and be quiet. I'll turn the attention now to those folks who really know what they're doing in this capacity. We'll first hear from Maris Lewis, who is our recently appointed Chief Academic Officer. We'll then hear from Chris Moss, who's the president of our K through 12 operations, to answer the detailed questions you might have. And Leilani Hunsaker will be third with us here today. Leilani has a lot of hats that she's worn for ALA, not the least of which is a mother of many children who have attended ALA. She served as a K through 6 director and on our board. So in that order, we'll hear from them. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and members of the board.
Good morning. Good morning, President Close, Madam Vice President, Superintendent, and members of the board. My name is Amaris Lewis, as I was so graciously talked about. I am the new Chief Academic Officer, and I was recently appointed this position to support our 11 American Leadership Academy schools after spending years as a parent at one of the largest American Leadership Academy campuses, ALA Queen Creek Elementary. I was a teacher, I was an assistant director, a director, and then director of student achievement at Charter One, and now the CAO. I've worn many hats for American Leadership Academy and Charter One. As a teacher, I had 97% proficiency in my state testing. And as an assistant director and director, I helped move the needle for our campus. We do have some campuses that underperformed in a 5-mile radius, but I would like to say that our academic team has supported those campuses. We provided in-depth summer training for our campuses. We created the material for their training. We brought in math specialists to train the directors and the teachers as a support for our academics. We've seen massive improvements. One of our campuses, Gilbert South, who originally had a C, they received a letter grade of an A within a year span. We have 3 A's, we have 5 B's last year, and 1 C. The C previously had an A, and they had a culture shift and were projected to receive an A for that campus. What we've done with our campuses is provided personal support. As a matter of fact, our Signal Butte campus, who struggled quite a bit about 2 years ago, we have personally met with the campus leaders, the teachers, and to support the students. I just received an email from that campus director today who originally had a 20% proficiency on their math benchmarks, who now has a 71% math proficiency for her students. So we are directly involved with our campuses and improving that proficiency. I know we weren't here to talk about a letter grade, but that grade does include growth and proficiency, and that's what my team supports our campuses. There's no questions. I'll push it over to Chris Moss.
Hi, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris Moss. I'm the division president for our pre-K through 12 operations division. I just want to take a few seconds, a very brief amount of time, to talk a little bit about the enrollment cap increase. The ALA board is requesting an increase of our current cap of 16,000 up to 20,000 to accommodate growth in our existing campuses, as well as the enrollment we expect for the 3 K through 12 campuses that have already been approved by this board. We believe the cap increase is needed independent of the decision you would make today regarding our Sierra Vista campus. But even if that campus is approved today, the enrollment cap that we're asking for would cover us for the next 2 years. So as I mentioned, our enrollment cap is currently 16,000. Enrollment for this year across all of our campuses is approximately 14,500 with a calculated ADM of about 13,550. So that puts our enrollment at about 90% of our enrollment cap, and a calculated ADM is right at 85% of our enrollment cap. As we look at to the coming year, opening this August, we expect to enroll at least 700 new students in the K-12 campus we're opening in Mesa. That was approved by this board in January of 2022, which would put our projected enrollment at 15,200, which is 95% of our current cap. For the year after that, academic year 25-26, we expect to roll an additional 1,400 students in the 2 new K through 12 campuses that were approved by this board in April of 2023. And those students, along with the projected growth in our existing schools, would put our enrollment well over 17,000, which would be in excess of the cap that we have today. For academic year 26-27, we're projecting enrollment would be over 20,000 students. So given these numbers, which we believe are very realistic, given the historical growth that we've seen in enrollment across ALA schools, we believe that a cap increase from 16,000 to 20,000 is appropriate. And again, we believe a cap of 20,000 is adequate for the coming 2 years with or without the approval of the Sierra Vista campus today. And that's just the quick summary I wanted to give you. So if there are no other questions at this point, I'll turn it over to Leilani Hunsaker to just talk very briefly about the Sierra Vista application itself. Thank you very much.
President Close, Superintendent Designee Miller, and the rest of the board members, thank you so much again for having us today. I just wanted to briefly speak in closing about the Sierra Vista campus. Our Sierra Vista campus was born because we really wanted to serve that community, and we had an influx of students who started attending our virtual offering during COVID and in the coming years. And so we started to see this critical mass of students down in the southern part of the state. It was then requested that we create a learning center where these students could meet together, of course, not in a typical school environment, but where they could come when they were available. And that demand for those services continued to increase, which is why we have now come to request a site expansion. And we believe that there has been overwhelming support in the community from the students, the families, and the local leaders for options down down in the southern part of the state where traditionally they haven't had a lot of different options. And so just recently, I had the unique opportunity to meet with both the mayors of Benson and Sierra Vista, and we had a great conversation about the needs of their community and how this could be one of the options that their students and families have. As you've probably noticed, we do have support of the legislative delegation from District 19, which also represents the Sierra Vista and surrounding communities in Southern Arizona. And finally, we had a community event last Thursday where we had over 700 students and families from that local area come out and be with us in a desire to learn more and in anticipation of hopefully being able to attend school at American Leadership in Sierra Vista. So we believe that the demand is there. We believe that, as President Pugh stated, our desire is always to serve families and to grow where we are wanted. And we believe that that is the case in Sierra Vista. And so thank you once again so much for your time, for your consideration of these requests. And we really appreciate the ongoing work that you all continue to do. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you all. Are there any questions for the charter from the board?
I have a couple questions. First question I have, so you had mentioned that a lot of the students that were participating virtually have expressed an interest. They were particularly located in Sierra Vista, Benson area. You had mentioned that they had a strong desire to participate in person, is what I'm understanding from that. So can you tell me what you would be looking at percentage-wise that moves from the virtual to a Sierra Vista campus for in-person learning, what that would look like as far as your enrollment goes and anticipated enrollment for next year, should this move forward?
Yes, ma'am. So I think our daily average attendance in the Learning Center at Sierra Vista was about 168 students. I think projected enrollment for first year at Sierra Vista would be about 700 students. So we expect the vast majority of those people who are attending our Learning Center to go over, and with the difference of coming from the surrounding community. Did that answer what you're after? Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
President Close, could I follow on? So are you eliminating the online education?
The online program will remain. We would close the Learning Center, so the physical building where people can come to do their online work, but the online program that ALA offers will still remain in place.
And how many students are you expecting what percentage of students are you expecting to leave that and attend the facility?
So the enrollment calculation for our virtual program is always tricky because we have students who actually do a small number of classes, but who are also take classes in our physical classrooms. But I think, and I will try to get the exact number in a moment, man, but I think we're on order of 800 or 900 students in the virtual program. So even if the 168 move from the Learning Center over to enroll in a full-time Sierra Vista campus, that would leave us still on order of 750, 650 students in the virtual program. And that's from across the state, not just in Sierra Vista. So we have students from all over that participate in that virtual program.
All right. Thank you very much. That
Yes, ma'am.
helps me out.
Other questions? No. Okay. If there are no more questions, is there a motion?
My turn. All right, this is Jessica, and based on the information provided, well, first of all, before we start, I just wanted to say thank you for all of that information, because that was very helpful, particularly when we're looking at schools that have that within a 5-mile radius, there's some discrepancies. So I really like the fact that you gave us some information about internal work that you're doing, because we can read information all the time, but that doesn't necessarily give us a lot. And it also provided a lot of information and feedback about, that's why I think Dr. Crockett and I were asking about the virtual academy, what that shift is going to look like, how that's going to impact everybody. I think that's important to note too, because going from well, I don't know how anybody else feels about it, but going from virtual to in person, it's a huge shift. And we saw it post-COVID. We're still feeling the effects of it in a school setting. So that's going to obviously be a barrier that you need to think about when you're looking at the school and how students are being in person, looking at each other and being around each other as opposed to with a screen. So just wanted to put those couple things out there. But with that said, I move based on the information contained in the board materials and presented today to approve the requests to add American Leadership Academy Sierra Vista to the contract of American Leadership Academy, Inc., and to increase the enrollment cap for the contract of American Leadership Academy, Inc. from 16,000 to 20,000.
There's the motion. Is there a second?
I'm delighted to second.
Second by Dr. Crockett. Go ahead and take the vote, please.
Vice President Montier,
Aye.
Superintendent Designee Miller,
Aye.
Ms. Barr,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Ms. Foster,
Aye.
Mr. Ruiz,
Aye.
President Close.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you all for your time making it out. Congratulations. Moving on to item I, we have a number of items here for charter renewals. First one up, Anthem Preparatory Academy, presentation by Shannon.
Sorry, President Close, I need to recuse myself on item I-1 on the grounds that I am employed by the charter holder.
Understood. Thank you.
I hope you all are ready for the Shannon show today, because that's what's happening. Anthem Preparatory Academy submitted a charter renewal application package on January 2nd, 2024 to continue operation of Great Hearts Academy's Anthem Prep, serving grades K through 12 in Anthem with a current enrollment cap of 1102. As part of the renewal process, staff conducted an academic systems review using a desk review process with a virtual visit of Great Hearts Academy's Anthem Prep on March 26, 2024. During the academic systems review, specific areas of the charter contract are reviewed to ensure a charter holder is in compliance. The charter holder was in compliance in all areas. The charter holder currently meets the board's academic, operational, and financial performance expectations, and I'm available for questions.
Any questions from the board? Not, is there a representative from the charter present?
I am Bianca Uliberry. I'm on Zoom.
Very good. Well, now's your opportunity to say something.
Okay. I just wanted to thank Shannon and her team. We've always had a wonderful experience, and especially as they are starting to streamline processes, it's just helping out with the whole compliance and whether or not kind of where we stand. And it's always a joy to work with Shannon and her team. I get nothing but positive feedback from all of the schools that have gone through this process. And next year is going to be a big year for us because I want to say we have around 8 schools, which 6 of them I believe are going to also be up for renewal next year. So we have a big year ahead of us, as will this board. But I just wanted to thank Shannon and the team for all their help and support and all the services that they do provide. And I'm just here to answer any questions you guys may have.
Okay. Any questions from the board? If not, is there a motion?
This is Jessica. First of all, thanks so much for the heads up for next year with the schools. Look forward to seeing you again. And based on the information, I move to, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. I move based on a review of the information provided by the representatives of the charter holder and the contents of the application package to approve the charter renewal application package and grant a renewal contract to Anthem Preparatory Academy effective July 1, 2025.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I second the motion, and Bianca, it's great to see you again.
Great to see you too, Dr. Crockett.
Thank you, Dr. Crockett. Go ahead and take the vote, please.
Vice President Montier,
Aye.
Superintendent Designee Miller,
Aye.
Ms. Barr. Oh, she recused herself. And then we have Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Ms. Foster,
Aye.
Mr. Ruiz,
Aye.
President Close.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and move on. Shannon, you have another one.
I have a lot of them,
Yeah.
so I hope you guys like me.
We'll just keep it going.
All right, Arizona Agribusiness and Equine Center, Inc., entity ID 90779,
submitted a charter renewal application package on February 2nd, 2024 to continue operation of AAEC Estrella Mountain with a current enrollment cap of 525. AAEC Estrella Mountain serves grades 9 through 12 in Avondale, Arizona. As part of the renewal process, staff conducted an academic systems review using a desk review process with a virtual visit of AAEC Estrella Mountain on January 31st, 2024. During the academic systems review, specific areas of the charter contract are reviewed to ensure a charter holder is in compliance. At this time, the charter holder is in compliance in all areas. The charter holder currently meets the board's academic, operational, and financial performance expectations, and our team is available for questions if you have them.
Any questions from the board? No? Is there a representative from the charter?
Hello, this is Suzanne Drakes.
Good morning.
Here and we're listening. Yes, good morning. We just would like to continue to provide great academics to Avondale. And so if you have any questions for me, please feel free to ask.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? And okay, if none, Jessica?
There is no I in team, but there is a Shannon, apparently, since it's the Shannon show today. All right. This is Jessica. I move based on a review of the information provided by the representatives of the charter holder and the contents of the application package to approve the charter renewal application package and grant a renewal contract to Arizona Agribusiness and Equine Center, Inc., entity ID 90779, effective July 1, 2025.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Dr. Crockett. We'll go ahead and please take the vote.
Vice President Montier,
Aye.
Superintendent Designee Miller,
Aye.
Ms. Barr,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Ms. Foster,
Aye.
Mr. Ruiz,
Aye.
President Close.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right. Arizona Education Solutions submitted a charter renewal application package on February 16th, 2024 to continue operation of State Online School and Virtual School of Arizona with a current enrollment cap of 3,950. Both schools utilize Arizona Online Instruction to serve grades K through 12. As part of the renewal process, staff conducted an academic systems review using a desk review process with a virtual visit of the two schools on February 20th, 2024. During the academic systems review, specific areas of the charter contract are reviewed to ensure a charter holder is in compliance. At this time, the charter holder is in compliance in all areas. The charter holder currently meets the board's operational and financial performance expectations, but does not meet the academic performance expectations due to State Online School receiving a D letter grade in fiscal year 23, which is currently under appeal through the Office of Administrative Hearings. And again, the team is available for questions if you have them.
Any questions for the team from the board? If not, is there a representative from the charter?
Yes, President Close, Brian Bissell here.
Good morning. Do you have
Good
any
morning.
comments? Do you have anything to say, Mr. Bissell?
Thank you for having us this morning. We're pleased to be here with you. As you saw in your packet, staff conducted a thorough review and engagement with our team. I have some of our team here with us. If that becomes necessary, we can bring them in. But in short, our schools, our vision is really quite compelling. We seek to meet our students and our families where they are in their journey. And our commitment is to help them progress academically, no matter how long they're with us. You saw in some of the additional data that Ashley and the team invited us to provide to you in your packet, that the profile of the students that we serve throughout the state of Arizona, these are AOI online schools, and we serve them across all 15 counties, including on several of the reservations. We have 62% of our students were new to our school this year as a result of parents choosing to change their child's school for whatever reason that is. 41% of those students enrolled after the start of the school year.
67% of our total student body this year were at least 1 year behind on grade level performance at the time they enrolled with us. 73% of our high school students were behind in credits when they enrolled with us. Because of all of those unique at-risk factors, ADE has declared, beginning with this current school year, the 23-24 school year, both schools have been identified as alternative schools, which will in turn impact letter grades and the metrics in the model under which these schools are authorized. In the end, however, we remain committed to working both with the state charter board as well as with ADE to help make, as you know, the very new process of AOI letter grades. We are committed to investing both our resources to collaborate with ADE and to engage with them to improve both the accuracy and the relevance of the AOI letter grades, and to help improve the underlying business rules and the software coding. And that's the ongoing conversation that we're having both with ADE, with your staff, as well as with policymakers and other AOI schools, so that there is both clarity and meaning for AOI schools in general, as well as for AOI alternative schools like ours. In the end, President Close and board members, our vision remains the same. We seek to meet our students and our families where they are in their journey and help them progress and grow academically, no matter how long or how short they're with us. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Any questions from the board?
I just did. This is Jessica. I have a couple questions. So with regards to, you gave us a lot of information and we really appreciate that. So thank you very much. I'm just curious as to what systems have been put into place on a school setting, because virtual schooling is obviously very challenging for everybody. So what systems are put into place to help students make that progress that you want to see? I know you're meeting them where they are, and I think that's fantastic. And I think that there are also, you know, expectations. Everybody has expectations. So what are you putting in place to get them there?
Yeah, you bet. Well, the first is, as you know, with that mobility and with those other at-risk factors, it's important to engage with students. And one of the things that all of the AOI schools throughout the state, including our schools, wrestle with is at times, although all of us who are gathered here today, I think, believe strongly in the value of parental choice, sometimes parents make choices that may not be what the choices some of us might recommend. Nevertheless, as part of our commitment to meet them where they're at, we've done a couple of things. First and foremost, we have deployed and created a whole new student mentoring program that meets each student where they're at. This is in addition to advisor counselor. This is in addition to their teacher. And so it meets these at-risk students where they're at using the Check and Connect system that we have implemented in a virtual and online way to ensure that each of these students, particularly those who are most at risk, have the additional supports and the accountability and the relationship and the cheerleading that they need in order to be engaged through the process. And again, some of these are full-time students in academic speak and accountability speak, FAE students, full academic year students. Many of them are not FAE, either because of the period of time they're with us or because they're co-enrolled between us and some other public or private school in the state. So nevertheless, our commitment to meeting students where they're at is been significantly enhanced, Jessica, by the addition of these mentors and Check and Connect because it's driving student engagement. And we're seeing notable difference and improvement in those students who are participating and engaging with Check and Connect with our mentors. I hope that's helpful.
That is, and I just have a follow-up question about that. So when you're talking about those students that are not full FAE students and that might be co-enrolled somewhere else, does the Check and Connect work kind of like an umbrella, I guess. I don't know how else to explain it, with that other school to help the students. If we're talking about meeting them where they are, they're kind of in two places. So how do you
Right.
sort of bridge that gap a little bit to help out
Yeah,
the
you bet.
students in particular?
You put your finger right on the pulse of one of the issues we're working through. With certain schools and districts, as you might imagine, there's greater receptivity of making sure that kids aren't getting lost, or let me say this delicately, or that they're not hiding. At times, I think, particularly in some of these AOI settings, we all have experienced that some students and families perhaps make the choice to enroll in an AOI because they think that perhaps they can hide, or they ghost, as it were. Luckily, in the AOI world, funding is tied to actual engagement, right? Actual minutes, not ADM or ADA. However, being able to partner, and candidly, it's the other charter schools that are in ASBCS portfolio with whom we have the best receptivity of partnering for the non-FAE kids, of really looking at the whole view of a student who might be co-enrolled. Some of the other district schools, other LEAs around the state, we don't enjoy as many favorable relationships. So kudos to our charter school community here in the state for not being territorial, but really looking out for the best interest of kids and families. But when there is a co-enrollment, we tend to do better and be able to serve kids and families better when we've got open dialogue and collaboration, typically with others in the charter portfolio, as opposed to not the charter portfolio, if that makes sense, Jessica.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Good morning. Thanks so much for being here, Brian, and your work on behalf of kids. Quick question. There's a significant difference between enrollment cap and enrollment. So is there sort of a growth trajectory, or is this just a safe buffer zone?
Candidly, we went through an enrollment cap increase process, which was eventually a negotiated agreement with Ashley and the state charter board here in the last couple of years. We chose during that period of uncertainty and ambiguity, when we had previously run up against our cap, we chose to take our foot off the gas pedal, as it were, a little bit, in order to be able to focus on not pushing past what eventually became a negotiated enrollment cap solution. But in the end, candidly, our board is committed to serving kids and families well. We do not seek to be the biggest. It perhaps might be arrogant, and I don't intend it to sound arrogant, to say we intend to be the best, but that really does give you some indication as to our heart. We seek to serve kids and families who will be well served by us and those who come to us for the period of time they're with us. And if, as we continue to move through our processes, continue to work with ADE and the AOI ATAC on letter grade issues, if we can demonstrate that we are doing right by kids and that we are meeting both your expectations and our own expectations, we may seek to become more aggressive in growing our enrollments, but that is neither a primary nor a secondary concern for us.
Dr. Crockett?
Thank you, Mr. Bissell. You may have mentioned this earlier in your presentation and I missed that, but can you tell me what percentage of students went into the student mentoring program and what percentage did not?
We invite all of our students to participate in the student mentoring program. We require all of our at-risk students to participate in the program. Now, of course, we can't all, but for those of you that have been involved in virtual or AOI learning, persistence is the key to engagement. persistence through a variety of means and communicate us are hiding or ghosting. And so all students are invited, at-risk students are required. And what does required look like? Required looks like we will not stop. And we have caseloads of folks that are absolutely required to pursue via phone, via email, via chat, via text. And we use all of those modalities in order to be able to engage with our students, particularly the at-risk students who are in the mentor program as a requirement.
Thank you.
What happened? Ms. Foster.
And this kind of goes along with what you're saying, the connect part. The students that are deficient in their credits, what additional support are you giving them to ensure that they're timely in completion?
It becomes a key part of the caseload of the mentor to ensure that all of the resources that we have available to us, including credit recovery, which is a robust offering, and we offer a significant number of credit recovery classes. And I think most of you probably know this. As an AOI, ADE defines our school year as the 365 days from July 1 to June 30. And as a result of that, we are able to run credit recovery year round. And maybe the right phrase here would be in a non-term based way, so that, again, we can be consistent with our vision to meet kids and families where they're at. So with those credit deficiencies, not only is it the student engagement and mentorship, but it is also these credit recovery courses that we are able to offer that are not bound to a traditional term start and end date. We're able to meet the kids where they're at, work them through, and the mentor is the key to help guide those students through those credit recovery options and to help get them back on track, regardless of how far behind when they came to us. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Brian, thanks for your patience. We've had a lot of questions for you. This is Member Miller, and it's no secret to anyone that I'm pretty passionate about some incongruencies when it comes to enrollment expectations between state, federal, local. So I may already know the answer, but if you could just speak to why the living situations and foster care questions were asked on your enrollment form, that might be helpful.
Yeah, you bet. You heard from my trusted friend and legal advisor earlier when Ms. Adams made her comments to you at the start of your public comment period at your meeting today. We believe, and with respect, we've learned to build a good relationship with Ashley and Rachel and our EPM, Mary Q, and we're grateful for all of them. We have certain requirements that we believe the state and the feds require of us that our view is slightly different, I think, than perhaps staff. Today's not the day to get into that, but we ask questions that we believe ADE requires of us to put into the state information system, into AZEDS, and that the feds both require and permit. And we've had collegial and cordial conversations with Ashley and your legal counsel as to perhaps some differing viewpoints between us and others as to what is or is not able to be required to ask. It does put schools in a difficult spot when we're trying to appease many different regulators and layers of regulators. Obviously, we have a primary obligation here to you as our authorizer. We also have duties and obligations to ADE and in turn to the feds. And so it does become difficult sometimes when there is clarity and unanimity amongst nearly all of the regulatory authorities as to what data must be collected, when it must be put in certain systems. But when there's not that full unanimity of mind and there's daylight between the regulators, it does put schools and operators in a difficult position. And we would be happy to engage in dialogue outside of today's hearing if that would be helpful, to be a part of the solution, to help bridge gaps of understanding or misunderstanding. But Ms. Adams wasn't speaking solely on our behalf, although I'm glad that she offered those comments earlier. It is becoming increasingly difficult, and resources that we would otherwise be investing in kids, we are spending on compliance and trying to navigate differing views of regulatory burden between the state charter board, ADE, and the feds. We would much rather be investing those resources in helping serve this population of kids who are highly mobile, who are credit deficient, et cetera. Hope that helps, Wendy.
Yeah, thank you for speaking to that. I think the McKinney-Vento homeless laws and foster care regulations are a reality to serve your population. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. More questions? Sure. Okay. No more? All right.
Sorry, remembered my question. Just out of curiosity, how many, what does the caseload look like for, I'm going back, sorry, not to deviate from McKinney-Vento or anything like that, because I do think it's important, but I wanted to touch back on the mentors. What does the caseload look like for the mentors? And of that caseload, what percentage is at risk and what percentage is the students choosing to participate? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, you bet. It's a different ratio based upon the profile of the student. So the at-risk portfolio of students requires a much lower ratio than those who are opting in, right? We have some high flyers enrolled in our schools, kids that have been with us for several years, who are FAE, and who have both the home environment and the educational support and the educational preparation to do well. Some of those students opt in, not because they need it for the same reason as our at-risk population does, but that ratio is quite a bit different. The other piece of the portfolio is our at-risk population ratio looks different based upon grade level band. We find that the high school kids who are typically more independent and in a post-COVID environment, also our middle school kids, our team and our board, myself included, have been increasingly surprised by the number of AOI students, not just enrolled in our schools. This is across the state, and it's not just in certain counties, it's statewide geographically, of middle school and high school students who are home alone doing schooling. And because of that, we are investing many more resources and a lower ratio of students to mentors for that portion of our at-risk population. I hope that makes sense.
It does. I was just curious as to I was looking more for a number, if you have it.
I know targets. I can't tell you the actual. I think our targets for high flyers is like 100 to 1, but our at-risk population is closer to, I think last I saw, I think it was like 37 or 38 to 1. And again, that's in addition to guidance counselor, advisor, as well as in addition to our faculty, in addition to our teachers.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you. Good questions. Any more? Do we have any final? No. Jessica, are you ready?
I'm ready. Thank you, by the way, for, I don't know if putting up with us is the right word, but just answering all of our questions and providing a lot of feedback. We really appreciate it. So without further ado, I move based on a review of the information provided by the representatives of the charter holder and the contents of the application package to approve the charter renewal application package and grant a renewal contract to Arizona Education Solutions effective July 1, 2025. I further move that the charter holder shall be subject to additional heightened monitoring by the board staff due to the D letter ratings. I know that you're going through a process there, but I also understand that you're working on different options for reducing the ratio and making sure that you're meeting all of the students where they are. So super appreciate that. Just want to make sure there's heightened monitoring so that we're all on the same page and doing what's best for the kids.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Yes, and with the comment that I think the additional monitoring is very important. I know that creates more of a burden for you, but based on your comments, but I think that it's very important for us and for the taxpayers as well.
Good. We're in motion now. So Ashley, could you please take a vote?
Vice President Montier,
Aye.
Superintendent Designee Miller,
Aye.
Ms. Barr,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Ms. Foster,
Aye.
Mr. Ruiz,
Aye.
President Close.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Very good. And thank you all for all of your thoughtful questions and trying to get extra answers here. Okay.
you.
Mr. Bissell, thank you. We'll go ahead and move on to next item, which is basis, and Shannon again.
Basis Charter Schools, Inc., entity ID 90508, excuse me, submitted a charter renewal application package on March 14th, 2024 to continue operation of Basis Oro Valley, serving grades 5 through 12 in Oro Valley with a current enrollment cap of 672. As part of the renewal process, staff conducted an academic systems review using a desk review process with a virtual visit of Basis Oro Valley on March 13th, 2024. During the academic systems review, specific areas of the charter contract are reviewed to ensure a charter holder is in compliance. The charter holder was in compliance in all areas. The charter holder currently meets the board's academic, operational, and financial performance expectations. And as always, I'm available for questions.
Any questions from the board for Shannon? Not, if there, is there a representative from the charter? Good morning.
Good morning, President Close, members of the board. I'm Deanna Rowe. I'm the Executive Director for Basis Charter Schools, and it's a pleasure to be back before you again today. Happy to be representing Basis Oro Valley, just as a, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were going for your mic and you were going to ask me a question. I need to be interrupted. Sorry. Just as a little bit of interesting current events information about Basis Oro Valley, it is the number 17 charter school or public high school in the country, according to U.S. News and World Reports. It's the number 4 charter school nationally, and it is the number 2 public high school in the state of Arizona. And I'm happy to be here and happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions from the board? Okay. If there are no questions, is there a motion?
Okay, now I'm going for my mic.
Okay.
This is Jessica. I move based on a review of the information provided by the representatives of the charter holder and the contents of the application package to approve the charter renewal application package and grant a renewal contract to Basis Charter Schools, Inc., entity ID 90508, effective July 1, 2025.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Happy to second that and congratulations.
Okay, Ashley, could you please take the vote?
Vice President Montier,
Aye.
Superintendent Designee Miller,
Aye.
Ms. Barr,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Ms. Foster,
Aye.
Mr. Ruiz,
Aye.
President Close.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Congratulations. Moving on, move my papers around here.
Yep.
Compass
Points.
point.
Yep, sorry. I was just going to dive right in, so.
Go for it.
Compass
Just do
Points
it.
International, Inc. submitted a charter renewal application package on February 5th, 2024 to continue operation of North Point Expeditionary Academy, serving grades 7 through 12 in Prescott with a current enrollment cap of 250. As part of the renewal process, staff conducted an academic systems review using a desk review process with a virtual visit of North Point Expeditionary Academy on February 22nd, 2024. During the academic systems review, specific areas of the charter contract are reviewed to ensure a charter holder is in compliance. At this time, the charter holder is in compliance in all areas. The charter holder currently meets the board's academic, operational, and financial performance expectations. And I'm available for questions.
Any questions from the board for Shannon? Not, is there a representative from the charter? Is there a representative from Compass Points International? Do we need, were there any questions for Compass Points International? Actually, it doesn't seem like there's any questions, so do we need anybody? Okay,
No, President Close, you may continue if they're not here.
if there are no questions, is there a motion?
Yes, this is Jessica. I move based on a review of the application package to approve the charter renewal application package and grant a renewal contract to Compass Points International, Inc., effective July 1, 2025.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second, and I'd also like to comment that I'm sorry that there isn't a representative here today. I think that's very disappointing. Thank you.
All set. Ashley, could you please take the vote?
Vice President Montier,
I agree with Dr. Crockett, and I.
Superintendent Designee Miller,
Aye.
Ms. Barr,
Echoing commentary and also I.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Ms. Foster,
I am also disappointed that there isn't a representative. Aye.
Mr. Ruiz,
Aye.
President Close.
So I'm voting aye, but when you communicate with them, let them know it's very reluctantly.
Thank you, President Close. Motion passes.
Very good. All right, I guess you'll pass that on. Somebody will.
Still going, still going. All right.
What do we got now? Ed ahead, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm up with you.
Ed Ahead submitted a charter renewal application package on February 5th, 2024 to continue operation of Academy Adventures Midtown with a current enrollment cap of 200. Academy Adventures Midtown serves kindergarten through 5th grade in Tucson. As part of the renewal process, staff conducted an academic systems review using a desk review process with a virtual visit of Academy Adventures Midtown on February 20th, 2024. During the academic systems review, specific areas of the charter contract are reviewed to ensure a charter holder is in compliance. At this time, the charter holder is in compliance in all areas. The charter holder currently meets the board's academic, operational, and financial performance expectations. And questions.
Any questions for Shannon? No, is there a representative from the charter here for Ed Ahead? Morning.
Looking forward to just being here. Like after 15 years, it's been a great time, and it's been I just want to say that I was one of the, like, maybe in the second year I got together with somebody else, and we had a couple of charters going, and so I'm really thrilled to be here because to see the progress, to see the amazing job that the board's done and that the staff's done, and to have been a part and to be a part of this, it's really exciting for me. And so I'm here. If you have any questions, I'll answer the questions. Other than that, I'm really excited to continue this journey. So.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
Hey, good morning. Thanks for being here. With such a fun intro, I'd love to hear what you're excited about with this renewal. What's your next step for this?
My greatest excitement about the renewal is that we have been working diligently to improve our model of multi-age, multi-grade education, and we actually have a consultant working with us now that has a large background in using the Renaissance model. Actually was a representative for Renaissance in the Houston School District. And over the past year, with the children that we have enrolled, we have our elementary kids, which of course are K1, 2, and they have really this close. They're at the border of being highly proficient, which in our particular Title I area is absolutely amazing. And the older kids, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, I'm so excited for them because they're in that average proficiency and average growth. It's like So we're looking forward to seeing if we can't knock the top off it and have a little fun nipping at BASIS's heels over the next 20 years. So not only that, I'm looking forward to coming up here in 20 years when I'm 100 and going, let's do it again. So thank you for the question. Thank you.
Any other questions? No, if there are none, we'll go ahead and have, is there a motion ready?
Well, we're thrilled to see you. So thanks for showing up. That's great. We're looking forward to seeing you in 100 years.
Awesome.
Keep going. Just keep going. All right. All right. So this is Jessica based on, I move based on a review of the information provided and the representative from the charter holder. Thank you. And the contents of the application package to approve the charter renewal application package and grant a renewal contract to Ed Ahead effective July 1, 2025.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We're in motion. Ashley, could you please take the vote?
Vice President Montier,
Aye.
Superintendent Designee Miller,
Aye.
Ms. Barr,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Ms. Foster,
Aye.
Mr. Ruiz,
Aye.
President Close.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Congratulations. And somebody will be here to see you in 20 years. Maybe not.
It'll be you.
Shannon, I think we're in the home stretch here, right?
Yep, this is the last one. You guys
Leading
are
edge.
almost done with me today. Okay, today. Leading Edge Academy Maricopa submitted a charter renewal application package on January 3rd, 2024 to continue operation of Leading Edge Academy Maricopa, serving grades K through 8 in Maricopa with an enrollment cap of 850. As part of the renewal process, staff conducted an academic systems review using a desk review process with a virtual visit of Leading Edge Academy Maricopa on February 14th, 2024. During the academic systems review, specific areas of the charter contract are reviewed to ensure a charter holder is in compliance. At this time, the charter holder is in compliance in all areas. The charter holder currently meets the board's academic, operational, and financial performance expectations, and I am here if you have questions.
Any questions for Shannon? Not. Is there a representative from the charter here, Leading Edge? Looks like we have someone.
Yes, good morning. My
morning.
name is Lori Anderson. I'm the Executive Director for Leading Edge Academy, and I'm here along with Mary Ellen Lee, and I think you all know her, many of you do, our Director of Development. And we just want to take a moment to thank all of you, Shannon, and everyone on the board for your time through this process. We look forward to continuing to work with you, and we're here if you have any questions.
Any questions from the board? It's good to see you, Mary Ellen.
Hey, good to see you guys.
Okay, if there's no questions, is there a motion?
This is Jessica. I move based on a review of the information provided by the representatives of the charter holder and the contents of the application package to approve the charter renewal application package and grant a renewal contract to Leading Edge Academy Maricopa effective July 1, 2025. Great to see you again, Mary Ellen.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
This is Carol Crockett, ditto, and I second the motion.
Okay, motion. Ashley, could you please take the vote?
Vice President Montier,
Aye.
Superintendent Designee Miller,
Aye.
Ms. Barr,
Aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye.
Ms. Foster,
Aye.
Mr. Ruiz,
Aye.
President Close.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, good job,
Thank
y'all.
you so much, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. Have a good day. And Shannon, we're done. Moving on, right? She's already gone.
Back in the room.
Moving on to Cassie, compliance matters.
Good morning, President Close, Superintendent Designee Miller, and members of the board. Pursuant to Arizona Revised Statute 15183R and Arizona Administrative Code R75403F, if the board determines a charter holder does not meet the board's minimum operational performance expectations, it shall consider the charter holder's noncompliance and may subject the charter holder to additional charter oversight, as outlined in Article 6 of the Arizona Administrative Code, including issuing a notice of intent to revoke the charter contract. Pursuant to this rule, the following charter holders have been placed on the agenda for the board's consideration. The portfolio includes an executive summary detailing the charter holder's operational issues, including a summary table beginning on page 2, outlining which measure was rated it does not meet standard. A charter holder profile containing the governance structure, state assessment data, student enrollment and demographics, nearby schools comparison, and performance dashboards. A site visit report sent by board staff and a communication timeline summarizing any technical assistance or information provided to the charter holder. The first charter holder heard today in consideration of operational noncompliance is Academy of Tucson. Due to the charter holder being in its 10th year of operation following its charter renewal, board staff conducted an interval review virtual review call for Academy of Tucson Elementary School, Academy of Tucson Middle School, and Academy of Tucson High School on November 15th, 2023, and conducted its pop-in site visits on November 30th, 2023. Upon review of the documentation submitted by the charter holder, board staff identified multiple compliance issues leading to marking the charter holder's operational dashboard and requiring submissions to bring the charter holder into compliance. The issues identified deficiencies in properly aligning its contractual mission statement with the operating mission statement in use at the school, maintaining policies and processes related to enrollment, displaying the school's parental visitation policy, and displaying the annual budget posting on its website. Outside of the issues identified during the interval desk review, the charter holder was also out of compliance due to failure to timely submit their annual education service provider form, open meeting law violations identified during amendment review and during their annual audit, and violations identified by the Arizona Department of Education Office of English Language Acquisition Services Division in a review of the charter's English Learner Program. I'm available if you have any questions.
Any questions, Cassie? Where did Ashley go?
Actually, I really quick have a question. Just scrolling through this very large document. Can you pinpoint anything that the charter holder has not moved into compliance in the meantime? So I'm seeing, issues with fingerprint clearance card, the employee either got it updated or whatnot. Can you thank you.
Everything that is a compliance issue with our office has at this time been brought into a compliance. We do not monitor outside agency bringing into compliance. So the only piece I cannot confirm is whether they have come into compliance with the WELLIS.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Well, is there a representative from the Academy of Tucson? Good morning.
My name is Wendy Allardyce, and I am the current superintendent for Academy of Tucson, and also a charter representative here. This is my 3rd year doing this, so this was a very new process for me. I've been working in the system for a really long time, so I went through the process when we went through our renewal. In 2014, I was a teacher then. So this is a different side to be on for sure. But I just want to let you know, we are in compliance. Some of them it was wonderful to hear Lynn Adams talk about some of those things where it's compliance here, but not there, regulation here, but not there. And that was quite a few of the items that we have. We've been doing this a long time. We do it well. We've been an A or B school for a very, very long time. So I just want to impress upon the board that these compliance issues they're not financial. They're not things that we are doing. We're not intentionally doing things incorrectly. We are doing our best to stay in compliance. And I am looking forward to having more support in those items as well.
Any questions for the charter holder?
Hi, this is Jessica. So a couple questions for you. You had indicated that you're looking forward to having additional support. Can you talk to us about what that looks like for you, especially 3 years in and having to go through all of this on a completely different end, right? So not as a teacher in 2014, but now superintendent. What supports do you have put in place to help you with the myriad of operational compliance requirements? And then how are you sort of navigating that moving forward?
One of the first things that we ended up out of compliance was lack of access that I had. I wasn't the person they were making contact with. So I got a newsletter, but no information wasn't considered a charter holder that that the board was communicating with. So when I got an email of, hey, you're out of compliance, it was an immediate, oh, we need to get you access. And so I think being able to now have access to that information, knowing who to contact, the compliance assurances that we have to do now, the fact that it is really long, but it's very clear on what you have to do. You don't have to go back and look at statutes and try and figure that out as well. The two people who were actually doing our review with us, they were very helpful in giving me some information about where else I can find information. It's not always on the online website. It's not only through the charter board, through the charter association and some other places that are available. The suggestion was go to the charter holder boot camp. Had no idea that there was one. So I've learned a lot this year, but I think it will definitely be helpful. We're really, really small staff. It's me and 3 principals running schools. So just being able to kind of be on top of some things, I think will be helpful as well.
Any more questions? Wendy?
Good morning. I appreciate you being here and can really empathize. Been in that position of trying to handle compliance and run our schools, and we want to put the energy towards our kids and our staff and our families when we can. So I get that. Since the charter board staff is not able to update us on OLS, can you speak to that at all? What the current status of those issues were?
It's in their hands, actually. One of the things that I was trying really hard to do is, I know when they ask for something, I try and do it as soon as possible so I can also get feedback. So I got some feedback on some of the trainings that I was asking about. It's in their hands. We have a plan. I've given them a plan. We've updated pieces of it. We put in some specific training. I have given them different dates to make sure that it aligns with their fall reviews that they're coming back for. She said they still get 30 days to do that. So I'm hoping before the end of the school year that I'll hear something about that. But I understand we're on a corrective action plan. We still have 40% of our kids make proficiency on the Azella test. So yes, I understand compliance. We're still doing what we're supposed to do.
Okay. Any more questions? Nope. Is there a motion?
This is Jessica. I move to find that Academy of Tucson, hereinafter referred to in this motion as the charter holder, has failed to meet the operational performance expectations set forth in the board's operational performance framework and has violated its charter contract and state and federal law. These failures and violations provide a sufficient basis to issue a notice of intent to revoke the charter holder's contract. However, the board is authorized to exercise its legal discretion with regard to actions taken against a charter holder that is not in compliance with its charter, other obligations to the board, and state and federal law. In an effort to bring the charter holder into compliance, the board directs staff to work with legal counsel to develop a consent agreement that addresses the charter holder's noncompliance identified in today's materials. The terms of the agreement shall be consistent with the terms set forth in previous consent agreements between the board and other charter holders for failure to comply with the board's operational performance expectations. I further move that the board authorize the board president to approve and sign the consent agreement executed by the charter holder without being brought before the entire board for approval at a subsequent meeting. If the charter holder chooses not to accept the terms of the consent agreement developed by board staff and the board's legal counsel, or an executed copy of the consent agreement along with the governing board minutes approving the consent agreement are not received by the date specified by board staff, then it is the board's decision that the charter holder be placed on a future agenda for a motion to issue a notice of intent to revoke the charter holder's charter contract for the reasons already specified.
There is a motion. Is there a second? Dr. Crockett seconds.
I'm happy to second that motion and I wish you good luck. I really enjoyed your presentation and I think you're very sincere and I wish for you great success.
Okay, we're in motion now. Ashley, could you please take the vote?
Vice President Montierth.
I echo Dr. Crockett's statements. Aye.
Superintendent Designee Miller.
Aye.
Ms. Barr.
Aye.
Dr. Crockett.
Aye.
Ms. Foster.
Aye.
Mr. Ruiz,
Aye.
President Close.
Vote aye, and I just want to comment that I have high confidence that all parties will get through this process productively and successfully.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Right, thank you. Next item is Cassie again, Mountain Oak School.
President Close, Superintendent Designee Miller, and members. The next charter holder heard today in consideration of operational noncompliance is Mountain Oak School, Inc. Due to the charter holder being in its 10th year of operation following its charter renewal, board staff conducted an interval review, virtual review call for Mountain Oak Charter School on October 20th, 2023, and conducted its pop-in site visit on February 21st, 2024. Upon review of the documentation submitted by the charter holder, board staff identified multiple compliance issues leading to marking the charter holder's operational dashboard and requiring submissions to bring the charter holder into compliance. The issues identified deficiencies in documenting that it has provided the required number of minutes of reading instruction per state statute, maintaining policies and processes related to enrollment, maintaining appropriate fingerprinting documentation, complying with open meeting law requirements, providing required documentation to board staff timely, displaying the statutorily required teacher salary posting, appropriately linking the statutory handbook of parental rights, appropriately linking the charter holder's performance dashboards on its website, and displaying the school's public records request point of contact information. I'm available if you have any questions.
Everybody looks to me. Same question as before.
Everything that is under our purview is in compliance, and I do believe all of their issues were under our office, so they are in compliance in all areas at this time. Thank you. Welcome.
Any other questions for Cassie or staff? No? They're a representative from the charter holder from Mountain Oak School here. Good morning.
Currently a teacher at the school. Of the three of us that are here, I have been there the longest. Came to the school in 2007. Have been a charter rep for about 10 years and stepped away from the school for about 5 years and worked in the public schools in and around Prescott. Came back this year as a first grade teacher. So I can say that we're a little school. Over the years that I've been there, we've had our enrollment as high as around 160. Currently, it's under 100. COVID had a big impact on our student population. And it also had an impact on the adults who were part of the school community. So we've had a huge upheaval in board members and teaching staff and support staff. And even this year, our Title I reading teacher passed away at the end of December from cancer that she was affected by for a number of years and just kept hanging in there and providing services, even summer services for our students, even into the fall. And so those changes have certainly created a bit of a challenge for us in trying to make sure that we were doing all of the things that we needed to do on our website and our enrollment packets and things like that. We're working hard. We've gotten to a point now at the end of the year that we've somewhat stabilized. Our board is intact and our staff seems to be pretty solid. And so, you know, we think that we're really moving in the right direction. And we believe that we've addressed all of the things that were identified by the great people who came out and worked with us and fixed that and are moving in the right direction. So thank you.
Any questions from the board? Oh, we have some more. Sorry about that.
Good morning. My name is Katie Larson. I am the board secretary and also a charter representative and a parent at the school. And I would just like to stand before you today and say that as a representative of the board recognizes that things need to be changed, and we have
made changes this year. As Marlene mentioned, things are stable and in a much better place, and we are taking action to ensure that things continue to be stable, including clear documentation. So when we have turnover, people can just step in and do their job. We have had board members attend open meeting law trainings. I have attended the charter representative boot camp. And we now have 2 active charter reps so that we can ensure everything is finished online on time. And I would just like to thank you for your time, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you guys for allowing us the opportunity to come talk about our small school. My name's Jim Nolan. I'm the director at Mountain Oak School. We do have a business manager who wanted to be with us here today, but he's dealing with a personal issue. So I'll try to be able to represent both of us if I can do that. Myself and the staff at Mountain Oak, we definitely want to express our gratitude towards the charter board for their unwavering commitment to public education, and your steadfast support has been instrumental in our institution's progress. We deeply appreciate the opportunity you've given us for this self-awareness process during this 10-year review. Over the past few years, we've had a significant turnover in administration, educational staff, and our governing board. However, the current administration has been pivotal in stabilizing our school community, and we've seen marked improvement in the stability, in involvement, competence of our staff and our governing board. We're proud that we have a very robust 7-person board now, and we are delighted to welcome back every teacher minus one who's retiring for the next school year. These are testaments of the positive change we have implemented. Thanks to the stabilization that's been brought on, the findings from the 10-year review, we're confident that all our policies and processes will be diligently followed going forward. Regarding the marks on our dashboard, it's important to note that we're a Waldorf-inspired charter school with limited use of technology in the classroom, and we acknowledge that this low-tech environment has affected the campus culture. To address this, we've resolved the issue of our outdated website by appointing a president of our PTA to be our webmaster and our IT personnel. Hopefully this proactive step will ensure that our website will stay in compliance and our IT issues will be able to be followed going forward. Also, as an institution inspired by Waldorf education, our school has used the term main lesson in our master schedule. The lesson incorporates components of reading literacy. While we have adhered to the consistent block scheduling for a significant period of time, we have resolved to further delineate the components of our main lesson within the master schedule in order to provide better clarity that demonstrates compliance with the requisite reading literacy requirements. It's also worth noting that Mountain Oak was without a director for an extended period of time. And during this time, there was a leadership committee that was responsible for overseeing the hiring practices. And unfortunately, some policies and procedures were not administered properly, and the requisite attention to detail didn't exist. To remedy this, we have a comprehensive onboarding policy that's designed to not only ensure that eligible applicants are permitted to work on school grounds. It's also enforced by a now full-time business manager who oversees the onboarding process, including IVP. This will guarantee all paperwork is up to date. The business manager also will conduct periodic reviews of employee files to ensure continuing compliance. And finally, our enrollment packet wasn't updated for years until the deficiencies were identified during this 10-year review process. We've taken these findings very seriously and are committed to reviewing our enrollment packet annually and updating our website regularly. This ensures that we'll be in compliance with state regulation giving you the assurance that we're dedicated to maintaining the highest standards and provide the best education possible for our students. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Were there any questions from the board for the representatives from Mountain Oak? Ms. Foster.
I'm just curious, since you had some turnover and transitions, have you guys have a succession plan for your key positions?
Yeah, we've been working on that diligently with our governing board, and yes, we have contingency plans now for turnover and succession.
Any other questions? Not, is there a motion?
This is Jessica. I move to find that Mountain Oak School, Inc., hereinafter referred to in this motion as the charter holder, has failed to meet the operational performance expectations set forth in the board's operational performance framework and has violated its charter contract and state and federal law. These failures and violations provide a sufficient basis to issue a notice of intent to revoke the charter holder's contract. However, the board is authorized to exercise its legal discretion with regard to actions taken against a charter holder that is not in compliance with its charter, other obligations to the board, and state and federal law. In an effort to bring the charter holder into compliance, the board directs staff to work with legal counsel to develop a consent agreement that addresses the charter holder's non-compliance identified in today's materials. The terms of this agreement shall be consistent with the terms set forth in previous consent agreements between the board and other charter holders for failure to comply with the board's operational performance expectations. I further move that the board authorize the board president to approve and sign consent agreements executed by the charter holder without being brought before an entire board for approval at a subsequent meeting. If the charter holder chooses not to accept the terms of the consent agreement developed by board staff and legal counsel, or an executed copy of the consent agreement along with the governing board minutes approving the consent agreement are not received by the date specified by board staff, then it is the board's decision that the charter holder be placed on a future agenda for a motion to issue a notice of intent to revoke the charter holder's charter contract for the reasons already specified. And I would also like to note that I really appreciate the fact that you provided that much information to us so that questions weren't really necessary other than Representative Foster.
Thank you, Jessica. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Dr. Crockett. Ashley, could you please take the vote?
Vice President Montier,
Aye.
Superintendent Designee Miller,
A quick comment with my vote. I want to thank you guys. You've thanked the board numerous times. Emotional for you, your humility and the hard work you're doing. I wish you the absolute best moving forward. I vote aye.
Ms. Barr,
Just aye.
Dr. Crockett,
Aye, and I second Ms. Miller's comments.
Ms. Foster,
I wish you all the best. Aye.
Mr. Ruiz,
I vote aye.
President Close.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right. You all have a good day. Congratulations. Too bad. Extended. Ashley, do you have anything for item K?
I do not.
All right, so if there is nothing for item K, then any other comments? If not, we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you.